Barcelona, a European icon and bucket list destination for millions. Architecture, culture, beaches, it seems to have it all. But with that fame comes a price. Over-tourism, crowds, and pickpockets. Is it still worth it? We're spending 2 days exploring Barcelona's legendary landmarks, cutting through the hype to find the truth. Should you book that flight or look elsewhere? Let's find out together.
We've arrived at our first major landmark here in Barcelona, the Arc de Triomf. It was built as the main entrance to the Universal Exhibition hosted here in 1888, and now it's one of the main tourist attractions here in the city.
After passing through the Arc de Triomphe, we were entering the Eixample district. This area of the city is known for its grid street layout and square blocks, and is one of Barcelona's most recognizable features, often shown from above. After a 25-minute walk down these beautiful tree-lined streets, we arrived at the most famous location in the city and maybe in all of Spain, Basilica de la Sagrada Familia.
This cathedral has been under construction since 1882, and it sounds like they have a long ways left to go with the construction, so it'll probably be in this state for some time to come, but it is really beautiful in a completely unique style. We haven't seen any cathedral ever anywhere that looks like this. It's pretty cool. Now that I've seen in person how much detail is on this cathedral, I can understand why it's taking them so long to build it. It is really, really impressive.
The Sagrada Familia is one of the primary examples of Barcelona's iconic modernista architecture. This basilica was designed by architect Antoni Gaudí, who was one of the central figures in the Modernisme movement in Catalonia. His work is truly one of a kind, and seeing this incredible building in person was one of the highlights of our trip. Even though it is still under construction, you can actually enter inside for the price of 26 euros, but if this is important to you, be sure to buy your ticket in advance because it can sell out.
We are going to be continuing seeing more of Antoni Gaudí's famous modernista architecture by heading to Park Güell. We're really excited for this because from what we've heard, it's one of the most beautiful spots in Barcelona. We're going to be heading there by metro. We just got our ticket. We got an 8-trip journey because we were just going to get return tickets each, but it turned out that getting an 8-trip was the same price, so maybe we'll have a metro card for tomorrow as well if we decide to go somewhere. But anyway, we're going to go ahead and hop on the train now and start heading that direction. Okay, we made it into the park. So admission to this park is 10 euros per person, and you do have to buy the tickets online in advance, although we only bought them yesterday, so when it's not peak season, it doesn't have to be too far in advance. But yeah, we're gonna start walking around and seeing what the park has to offer now.
Antoni Gaudí originally designed this park to be a housing development, but it was never completed for its intended purpose and later opened as a public park in 1926. This is the perfect place to see the influence nature had on Gaudí's designs, as he often used geometric forms found in the natural world. It is amazing to see how well he blended man-made structures into the environment around them.
The park is high up on a hill and known for having really good views of the city down below, and we're starting to get some peeks of that already through the trees here, but I believe the big panoramic view of the whole city is at the end. So once we get to the end of the park, we should be looking forward to that. We've come up a bit higher now, and we can really see how high up in the hills we actually are here. We have some views here of the different hills around us. It looks really pretty. We just saw a group of parrots here in the park. We've seen them all over Spain, but it still really amazes me every time we do encounter some. I don't know why, but it's just really cool to me to see tropical birds here in Europe. We've made it down to the famous viewpoint now, and what's really cool about this is the combination of the view of the city with the gardens around us and the modernista architecture. It makes it really pretty to look at, especially now at sunset time. Although, of course, as you can see behind me, at any attraction like this, you are going to have crowds of people waiting to take their picture with it, which can make it a little bit frustrating to just sit and enjoy the view, but it still is really nice and cool to see.
Below the main terrace is the Hypostyle Hall, a large covered space featuring 86 stone columns and colorful mosaics. It was originally designed as a market area and is one of the best examples of Gaudí's architecture in the park. Right in front of it, you can find the Grand Staircase, which is considered to be the main entrance of Park Güell. This staircase is home to El Drac, a colorful dragon statue and one of the most recognizable elements of the park.
On either side of the entryway, you can see the two famous houses always featured in pictures of Park Güell. They have a totally unique style that looks like it was taken right out of a fairy tale. Personally, they remind me of something you might see in a Dr. Seuss book. It was really fascinating to see in person.
This park was truly an amazing experience that made us feel like we were a world away from the busyness of Barcelona. After seeing this beautiful modernist architecture at Sagrada Familia and Park Güell, we couldn't get enough of it and decided we needed to visit a couple more examples of Gaudi's unique work before we ended the day. Now it was time to get back on the metro and head towards the city center to find some of his best and most interesting private residence designs.
The first of these is Casa Mila, also known as La Pedrera. This nickname means the stone quarry and was given because the building resembles a natural rock formation. It's so interesting to see the facade utilize so many curves instead of straight lines. You can also enter and go up to the rooftop for a great view of the city, but unfortunately we didn't have time left for that today.
A short walk down the street was our next stop, Casa Batllo. And I'm so glad that we made time to see this building because in my opinion, it's one of the most interesting structures we saw today. What's so special about this one is the roof that resembles the back of a dragon. We were also glad to have visited as it started getting dark because the colorful lights made the experience even more special.
Up to this point, our first day in Barcelona had been incredible, but in this area we had our first negative experience and saw a different side of the city that left us with a bad taste in our mouth. More about that in a minute.
Alright guys, we made it back to the hotel now. Let me go ahead and show you guys this place real quick actually. So we're paying 100 euros a night for this hotel, Hesperia in the Gothic Quarter. So relatively expensive, especially compared to other cities we've stayed in Spain. I think in general, Barcelona is just going to be a harder place to travel on a budget. I'm sure it's still possible if you're willing to sacrifice a bit more comfort, but yeah, we're definitely spending more here than any other place. But anyway, we had a good first day walking around. We enjoyed our walk. We got to get a feel for the city. So we're really excited for day 2. But before that, let me hand you over to Nina because she has a story to tell you guys real quick.
We really enjoyed walking in Barcelona today and seeing the major landmarks. It was really nice and the architecture is really beautiful. The only thing that was kind of off was in general vibe, at least in my opinion, especially because of something that we noticed. While walking, we noticed a guy that was walking really close to us, which in the first place we didn't pay too much of attention, but after a while we noticed him like more often, that he was like getting kind of closer and closer, even sometimes passing us by and then stopping or even disappearing for a while and then just showing out of nowhere. And at one point, Michael was standing with his backpack in one spot, and the guy came like really next to him, which we thought that he was trying to get something from his backpack. But since I was paying attention to him from the start, I noticed him and I pulled Michael away from there and looked at him and said, let's move from here. And since I had an eye contact with him, he kind of like started going the opposite direction and kind of moving away from us. And from that moment I was thinking, okay, he left, he figured it out that we are aware that he's coming close to us, so we were fine. We stopped paying attention that much. We just continued walking on the street, and then we were close to a Corte Inglés, which we tried to enter just to find the bathroom. And at one point while we were entering, he showed up out of nowhere, and that was the moment when we were actually worried and kind of scared because like he was passing by right away and I was like, this guy again? Like it was just really weird vibe, and I'm not really sure what he actually tried to do. Maybe it was all a coincidence. It was so many times during a short period of time that it kind of became really worrying. So yeah, in that moment we kind of like even got scared, just thinking like, what does he want? Since we heard a lot of stories about Barcelona, not just getting pickpocketed, but also like following you to some narrow street and trying to rob you or who knows what, which I'm not really sure if this guy wanted anything like that or we're just too paranoid. But I definitely didn't start being paranoid right from the beginning. It was after he showed up a couple times. So I'm not really sure, but I definitely got some weird vibes. And I would probably say Barcelona was the first place that I felt less safe than any other place in Spain we've been so far. So yeah, other than that, everything else was really beautiful and we had a nice time. So yeah, that's it about it, and we'll see you guys tomorrow with something new.
Hey everyone, today we are starting off on a very famous street here in Barcelona, La Rambla. We have a lot of ground to cover today since it is our last day and we have a lot left we want to walk through. So we're going to try to move at a little bit of a faster pace and just take a walk around the city and see what we can. So we're going to go ahead and get started walking up this famous street. La Rambla is a beautiful tree-lined street with a large pedestrian walkway, and on either side of us there's beautiful architecture and colorful buildings. There's also a lot of cafes and restaurants where you can sit, although most of them do seem like tourist traps to be honest, but it is a nice place to walk through. We're enjoying the pretty scenery.
La Rambla ends at Placa de Catalunya, one of the largest squares in the city known for its statues and fountains, as well as the flocks of pigeons that can often be found here. It is considered to be the city center as it is the meeting point between the old city and the more modern side of Barcelona.
After passing through Placa de Catalunya, the next part of our walk will be through the Gothic Quarter, one of the most popular neighborhoods to visit in Barcelona and the center of the historic side of the city. Like we mentioned before, our hotel is located in this neighborhood, so we have gone through it a couple times, but we want to take some time to fully explore this area and find some of the major landmarks here.
Behind us is the Cathedral of Barcelona. Not quite as famous as the Sagrada Familia, but much older and very beautiful as well. They're also setting up some Christmas markets around here, which look like they'll be really nice once they're open.
Yeah, they're really cute. And they also have some guy pooping on top of some of the markets. But I'm not really sure, since it's still closed, I'm not sure what they're actually gonna sell in that one. Is it gonna be food or something? But it's interesting. There's also some people like doing scams here, not like really scams, but they have white faces and they're dressed up in some kind of costumes they would come and try to be in your picture, like while you're taking pictures they will like stand next to you and kind of pose with you, or they will ask for you to take a picture of you, and then after that like run after you and like ask for money. And we even heard that they could be really aggressive and like they ask for more and more and more. So just be aware of some scams. Like if you see people with white faces or costumes, just don't let them be around you in your pictures or anything like that.
Yeah,
just as an advice.
They're photobombing people. So people who are just like minding their own business, taking pictures, they're coming and jumping in their picture and then asking for money for it. Crazy.
Yeah.
So anyway, very pretty cathedral though, and the square is really beautiful as well.
Yeah.
We're getting deeper into the Gothic Quarter now and seeing some of the famous architecture from this part of the city, including this arch behind me. It is really cool, totally different from a lot of other parts of the city we've seen so far.
This bridge is called Pont del Bisbe and connects the two buildings on either side of the alley. It is a primary example of the neo-Gothic architecture that can be found in this part of the city and is actually one of the most photographed points in Barcelona. Aside from the famous landmarks you can find here, our favorite thing about the Gothic Quarter was wandering through its labyrinth-like alleys. It really is so easy to get lost in here, but it's also so much fun to explore this maze of narrow streets and find the squares and courtyards they open up to.
The next area we passed through was Elborn, one of the trendiest neighborhoods in Barcelona. Elborn is still part of the old city and feels a lot like a less touristy version of the Gothic Quarter. It is full of cafes, bars, and boutique shops and ended up actually being our favorite part of the city. There are also some landmarks here as well, such as the beautiful Basilica de Santa Maria del Mar. This is definitely a neighborhood you have to make sure you walk through when in Barcelona.
Next, we're heading through the neighborhood of La Barceloneta to try to get a look at the beach before sunset.
We made it to the sea just in time for sunset, and we were pleasantly surprised by the beach here in Barcelona. For a city beach, it seemed very clean and well kept and had lots of amenities available. The promenade along the coast was the perfect place for a walk to take in all the beautiful scenery and for the view of the W Hotel, one of the city's most iconic buildings. Even though we visited in late fall and it was too cold to fully enjoy the sea, it was really cool to see the beach still so lively and full of people. Overall, I would definitely say Barceloneta is worth seeing at any time of year, and it was the perfect place to watch the sun set on our last night in Barcelona.
Alright guys, we are back in the Gothic Quarter and we just stopped at a place for dinner. We're actually having dessert for dinner. The place is called Granja Dulcinea, and Granja actually means farm. So apparently these old places used to be where you could get different kinds of dairy products, and they would actually have cows out back in their courtyard, which is pretty interesting. But now it's just a place to come to for sweets and dessert. So we got a couple of things to try here from Barcelona. It's actually coming now. Some chocolates, of course, but not churros this time. A few different things. We'll let you know how they are. So we've tried churros and chocolate a few times, but what's different here is we got these melindros instead of churros, and the chocolate has whipped cream on top, so it looks really good. So how's that compared to churros with chocolate?
Churros are slightly better, but this is still really good.
This chocolate is really, really good. Maybe the best we've had in Spain so far. We've tried this a few times, but this might be the best one. The addition of the whipped cream on top really makes it delicious. Although I do think that churros might be a little bit better than the melindros. Nina also got this pastry that she thought looked good in the window. We don't really know what it's called or what it is, but how is it?
It's pretty good. Pretty good. Filled with some kind of cream that they have. I'm not sure if it's similar to the thing you ordered, to this Catalan cream, maybe. I never tried it, so.
Yeah, that's the other thing here is Catalan cream. Apparently a dessert you have to try here in this region, so we're going to try that one next. It's interesting. It has some sort of like crust on top and then a layer of cream below it.
Interesting. Yeah. It's good, just interesting flavor. It's not the same as this other pastry.
So we figured out that the Catalan cream is basically creme brulee. The top layer it kind of has like a burnt sugar flavor to it that gives it that really unique taste. But anyway, we managed to finish everything. We feel sick now. This was way too much. I'd recommend trying these things one at a time. But it was all really good. What I really can't believe is, first of all, apparently this is breakfast food in Spain. I don't know how I could manage to have this for breakfast. But also, they give us a pack of sugar on the side, and I'm not really sure what that's for. I guess you're supposed to put sugar on top of your sugar. I don't know. But anyway, it was all very good. We had a good dessert dinner, and the total for it all was 17.2 euros for all the stuff we got.
All right, guys, we made it back to our hotel room now, and that means our time in Barcelona is finished. So, yeah, after exploring the city, what do you think? What are your thoughts on it?
I can definitely say that the areas we've seen today, like the Gothic Quarter, when we went a little bit deeper in it, and also Elborn, were really nice areas. I actually think that Elborn was probably the favorite part of the Barcelona that I've seen. Also, the beach area was really nice. We enjoyed walk there, and the sunset. It was really, really beautiful. But overall, I would say that I don't like Barcelona, even though it has really impressive architecture. It is beautiful, but the overall vibe of the city is what's bothering me. First of all, like being worried all the time if someone's gonna steal something from you, if you're gonna get pickpocketed or robbed somewhere. Also, if you're gonna get scammed, like we already mentioned today, that there were people like trying to get in your picture and then ask for money and all kinds of stuff. I just think that's kind of ruining it for me, even though the Barcelona is still beautiful, and I understand that a lot of people really like it. It just, in my opinion, slightly overrated compared to all the other places we've seen in Spain. I think Barcelona gets so much more attention, and I don't think it's that much better of the place than some other places in Spain. So yeah, that's my opinion.
Yeah, I'm honestly gonna have to agree about the overrated part. Not that it isn't beautiful, because it absolutely is, and I'm certainly glad we saw it. You know, we wanted to see as much of Spain as we could,
Yeah.
and I'm glad we came here and I got to see it for myself. But yeah, I think overall people just kind of make it out to be a lot better than it is. Even though there's beautiful parts, it also has its share of problems, safety being one of them. I mean, I wouldn't necessarily say we were actually in danger at any point, but
Yeah.
when you see obvious pickpockets around and scammers and whatever else, along with just like generally sketchy seeming people, as well as more of a homeless problem than I've seen probably anywhere else in Europe we've been. It's just like all those factors combined make you feel a little bit uneasy when you're walking around the city, and that just kind of takes away from it for me. And I guess we both agree on that. It's just that when you're kind of walking around in a new place and you're feeling a little bit nervous about where you are, it doesn't let you fully enjoy the place. That's kind of my takeaway from it, even though there were some beautiful parts.
Yeah, for sure.
Yeah, I don't know. Basically, there were just other parts of Spain that we liked better. I mean, all these problems that we're mentioning about Barcelona, we didn't feel this way in other cities in Spain. Even Madrid, which is the capital and a much bigger city, it felt completely safe and it felt really nice. So,
yeah, for sure.
I mean, I don't know. Not to say that this is the worst city ever. We still had a positive experience, mostly, I would say, with, admiring its beauty. But
yeah, and we do believe that even in Madrid, this kind of stuff is happening. People get pickpocketed or robbed somewhere. It's just that the overall vibe while we were walking, we didn't feel like someone's following us. I don't know, people are sketchy or anything. It just felt much safer in general. So
yeah.
So yeah, if you have a short time in Spain, we definitely recommend seeing Andalusia and Madrid if you prefer bigger cities than Madrid over Barcelona.
Yeah, I think that's our overall takeaway, is that there were just other parts of the country that we enjoyed so much more. So I think we're just a little bit confused about why Barcelona gets all the attention. I mean, I know a lot of those other places we went are very popular tourist destinations as well. It's just that you always hear about Barcelona, and I think places like Granada, Sevilla, Malaga were just much more enjoyable for us. I mean, that's basically what I have to say about that. I just think most of the places we saw in Andalusia were just better. And if you have limited amounts of time when you're traveling, like most people probably will, they'll be short on time. I think you should see that first. I think you should see as much of Andalusia and the south as you can. And if you want to add on a big city, go to the capital, Madrid.
That's all. Yeah.
That's basically my opinion. Yeah. So that's it for Spain. So yeah, we had an amazing time on this trip. Be sure to go back and check out some of our previous videos if you want to see how that went. It was a lot more positive than this, I can say. Like I said, even though we had a pretty positive experience still here, it was probably our least favorite place, just being honest. We want to be able to share our honest opinions with you guys. But yeah, be sure to check out some of those other places because we really loved almost everywhere we went.
Yeah, for sure. Thank you for watching, and we'll see you somewhere new.
Yep, see you guys next time.